Hello, geopolitics enthusiasts, and welcome to our channel. If you enjoy our content, consider joining our membership to support us. Let's take a deep dive into the realm of great power rivalry. The stage is set in South America, where Argentina has made a significant decision that's causing ripples across the globe. The nation has chosen to purchase F16 fighter jets from Denmark. A seemingly simple military procurement decision? Well, not quite. The alternative on the table was the Chinese F16 Thunder Block III jets. So what we're seeing here isn't just a choice between two pieces of military hardware. It's a reflection of the grand chess game between the US and China, two global powerhouses trying to assert influence over the South American continent. Argentina's decision to lean towards the F-16S signals a broader shift in its foreign policy. The administration under President Javier Milei is gradually pulling away from its relations with China, and instead re-emphasizing its ties with Western nations. This shift is more than just a change in diplomatic preference. It's a strategic move in the global power tug-of-war, with Argentina positioning itself on the side of the West. But why the F-16S? The answer lies in the delicate balance of geopolitics. The F-16S are not just machines of war, but symbols of alignment, of alliances, and of power dynamics. This choice of weaponry is a clear message to the world about where Argentina stands in the face of the growing rivalry between the US and China. Now let's not forget the technical side of things. Despite Argentina's choice, some argue that the Chinese F-17 may have been a better fit for the country's defense needs. But in the grand theater of geopolitics, national interests and strategic alliances often tip the scales. Despite the US offering F-16S as an alternative to Chinese jets, the F-17 may better suit Argentina's needs technologically, but geopolitics often trumps technology. The UK has historically opposed Argentina's efforts to modernize its air force. And the reason for this opposition lies in a disputed archipelago. The Falkland Islands, a small cluster of islands in the South Atlantic, have been a bone of contention between the United Kingdom and Argentina for centuries. Despite being geographically closer to Argentina, the islands have been under British control since the early 19th century. Argentina, however, has never renounced its claim. This dispute came to a head in 1982 when Argentina attempted to seize the islands by force, leading to a short but intense war that ended in British victory. Fast forward to the present day, and the Falkland Islands dispute still casts a long shadow over Argentina's military decisions, particularly its air force modernization efforts. The UK has consistently opposed these efforts, fearing that a stronger Argentine air force could upset the delicate balance of power in the region and potentially reignite the conflict over the Falklands. The recent decision by Argentina to purchase F-16 fighters from Denmark is a clear example of this ongoing tension. The deal, facilitated by the United States, is seen as a strategic move to counter China's growing influence in South America. However, it also highlights the UK's continued wariness regarding Argentina's military ambitions. On one hand, the F-16 deal strengthens Argentina's ties with the West and provides it with a technologically superior alternative to the Chinese F-17 jets. On the other hand, it raises the specter of the Falkland Islands dispute and the potential for future conflict. This arms deal, therefore, is not just about fighter jets. It's a chess move in a complex geopolitical game involving Argentina, the UK, the United States, and China. It's about power, influence, and a disputed archipelago whose significance far outweighs its size. The Falkland Islands dispute adds another layer of complexity to Argentina's decision to purchase F-16 fighters. From South America, we now shift our attention to the Eastern Hemisphere. China's People's Liberation Army, or PLA for short, is making moves that have the world watching. The PLA isn't just training troops for terrestrial warfare, they're looking to the stars. They are training satellite operators for a task that may sound mundane but is a game-changer in terms of military strategy: on-orbit satellite refueling. Now, why is this significant? Well, on-orbit refueling allows satellites to extend their operational life, change their orbits, and even perform more complex maneuvers. This is not a technology that is widespread, and China has shown a high level of proficiency in this arena. This is not a one-off experiment either. China is heavily investing in cutting-edge technologies for space operations, signifying a long-term commitment to expanding their capabilities in the final frontier. But it's not just about the technology. The PLA is using the insights gained from these training exercises to shape their military doctrine. This reflects a strategic shift towards integrating space operations into their overall military planning, which could potentially redefine warfare in the 21st century. To aid in this, China is actively seeking out simulation tools to train their satellite operators. These tools will allow them to create realistic training scenarios, further enhancing their capabilities. This move by the PLA is not just about showing off their technological prowess. It has significant implications for global security. On-orbit refueling can potentially be used to service or even commandeer other satellites, leading to concerns about the militarization of space. China's growing capabilities in space have raised concerns in the U.S. intelligence community. In fact, the PLA's on-orbit servicing capabilities pose a real threat to U.S. satellites. This might sound like a line from a science fiction novel, but it's a stark reality we're facing today. China's military space capabilities have been expanding at a formidable pace, and this has raised concerns within the U.S. intelligence community. Let's delve deeper into this. Many of our U.S. satellites, particularly those lacking maneuverability, are potentially at risk. These satellites, vital to both our national security and daily life, are susceptible to China's advanced on-orbit servicing capabilities. These capabilities, while seemingly benign, could potentially be used for more nefarious purposes, such as disabling or capturing other satellites. So, what are we doing about it? U.S. satellites are now being equipped with what's known as Hall thrusters. These are ion propulsion systems that can provide our satellites with the ability to alter their orbit, thus allowing them to dodge potential threats or attacks. It's a bit like a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, played out thousands of miles above our heads. But here's the rub. Despite these precautions, the threat remains. Even as our satellites become more agile, the Chinese continue to develop their on-orbit capabilities. This raises some unsettling questions. Could China use these on-orbit grappling satellites as weapons? And if so, what would be the implications during periods of tension or conflict? These are questions that we can't ignore. The space above us is no longer just an expanse of stars and galaxies. It's become a new frontier, a potential battleground where the stakes are incredibly high. Despite Chinese claims of non-malicious intent, experts warn of the potential for China to use on-orbit grappling satellites as weapons during periods of tension or conflict. This is a sobering thought, and one that underlines the importance of keeping a vigilant eye on the skies above us. Let's now turn our attention to India, a key player in the region. They're about to launch their first Pseudo satellite, a technological marvel that has the potential to revolutionize the nation's defense capabilities. This Pseudo satellite, also known as a high-altitude Pseudo satellite or HAPS, operates in the stratosphere, far above the reach of conventional air traffic and adverse weather conditions. It's designed to stay aloft for weeks, even months, providing a persistent bird's-eye view of the region below. The HAPS combines the agility of a jet with the endurance of a satellite, a game-changer for India's defense. It can be used for a variety of applications, from surveillance and reconnaissance to communications and environmental monitoring. What makes this development particularly significant is the context in which it's happening. India's relations with China have been tense, marked by border disputes and an increasingly competitive race for technological supremacy. This pseudo-satellite could give India a critical edge, enhancing its ability to monitor the border regions and respond swiftly to potential threats. It's a bold move that could significantly alter the balance of power in the region. This is not just about a new piece of technology, it's about India asserting its place in the high-stakes game of global geopolitics. As we've seen today, the sky is no longer the limit when it comes to defense strategy. But what exactly is a pseudo-satellite and how does it work? As we've just discussed, a pseudo-satellite or HAPS is a type of drone that operates in the stratosphere, the second major layer of Earth's atmosphere. This is far above the reach of conventional air traffic and adverse weather conditions. The technology behind pseudo-satellites is both fascinating and complex. Unlike traditional satellites which orbit Earth in space, pseudo-satellites are essentially unmanned aircraft that can stay aloft for weeks, even months at a time. They're powered by solar energy, which means they can operate for extended periods without needing to refuel. One of the key advantages of pseudo-satellites over traditional satellites is their ability to stay in one place. Traditional satellites are constantly moving, orbiting the Earth at high speeds. This makes them ideal for tasks like global communications or weather monitoring, but less effective for tasks that require a persistent presence over a specific area. Pseudo-satellites, on the other hand, can hover over a particular region for an extended period, providing a constant bird's-eye view of the area below. India plans to use this technology for a variety of applications, including surveillance, reconnaissance, communications, and environmental monitoring. The ability to keep a constant watch over a specific area could give India a significant edge in its defense capabilities, providing real-time information about potential threats and enabling a swift response. This technology could change the game for India, giving it a powerful tool to monitor its borders and respond to potential threats. It's a bold move that could significantly alter the balance of power in the region. But as with any new technology, it also raises new questions and challenges. Will other nations follow suit? And what will this mean for the future of global security? As we continue to push the boundaries of technology and defense, these are questions we'll need to grapple with. So what does this mean for China? As one of India's closest and most powerful neighbors, the development of India's pseudo-satellite technology could have significant implications for China's defense strategy. The ability of these pseudo-satellites to hover over a specific region for extended periods could provide India with an unprecedented level of surveillance over disputed territories, potentially giving it an advantage in any future conflicts. This new technology could also shift the balance of power in the region. India's ability to monitor its borders and respond swiftly to threats could strengthen its position and influence in the region, potentially changing the dynamics of power in Asia. But how might China respond to this development? China, known for its advanced technology and defense capabilities, might see this as a challenge to its own power and influence. It could potentially spur China to develop its own pseudo-satellite technology, leading to an arms race in the region. Alternatively, China might seek to negotiate with India to prevent a potential escalation of tensions. This is a significant development in the ongoing power dynamics between India and China. As we continue to observe these shifts in power and technology, we must consider the potential implications for global security and stability. It's a complex and evolving situation that will undoubtedly continue to shape the geopolitical landscape in the years to come. So, what have we learned today? We've navigated through the strategic implications of Argentina's decision to purchase F16 fighters from Denmark instead of Chinese F16 jets. We've delved into the tension-ridden legacy of the Falkland Islands dispute and its ongoing impact on Argentina's efforts to modernize its air force. We've explored China's advancements in satellite capabilities, the potential threats to U.S. satellites, and the possible impact of India's pseudo-satellite technology on regional power dynamics. But what does this all boil down to? It highlights the intricate, ever-shifting nature of global geopolitics, where technology and power constantly intersect. It underlines the importance of keeping an eye on these developments, as they can have far-reaching implications for global security and stability. It's a complex and evolving situation that will undoubtedly continue to shape the geopolitical landscape in the years to come. Every move, every decision, every technological advancement can tip the balance of power, sparking a ripple effect that could be felt around the world. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive into the geopolitical landscape. If you found this video insightful and want to stay updated on the latest developments, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.